Hello and welcome to SNL Sucks, the podcast where we creatively, nicely critique Saturday Night Live from the perspective of a wildly unsuccessful sketch comedy writer-performer, that being me, Fred Garvin, and just basically a lot of whining. You can see you can see or hear, even better, previous podcasts at SNLSucks.com and on SoundCloud. I'd like to thank our sponsors. We don't have any. So this is the October 22nd episode with Tom Hanks. So as always, they opened with the cold opening, the third debate. I'm glad there's not 5 debates. I think 3 is too many openings to shows. I'm kind of glad the debates are over. But I'm sure they'll open with more political stuff, which is fine. The debates are getting a little old. So, pretty good. It's really just replaying moments from the debate with just a little bit of exaggeration. Kind of writes itself. So, there was one suggestion I had. They did, when Trump said, no one treats women better than I do, or nobody has more respect or whatever, and the world laughed and they showed a picture of the globe. I thought it would have been really cute to have some really short clips of people in like Africa and Australia and France, South America, maybe some Aleutians laughing instead of just a globe. But, you know, it takes time. Okay. Up next was Tom Hanks' monologue, and I really liked it. He said he was America's dad, or called America's dad, so he kind of had a little chat with the nation about the big decision, rough year, why so many guns, a little political, but it was really nice. I really liked this. Nice juxtaposition, kind of talking to the nation like it's a child, and really good. Can't really say a lot of bad things about it. Up next was Black Jeopardy. I could see this coming. It's been, ages since they did a game show parody. But this was actually very good. I think it might have been one of the best game show parodies I've seen. So they had Black Jeopardy. Keenan was the host. They had Leslie, and I can't remember the other black woman's name. And Tom Hanks as I guess Trump supporter. He was wearing the Trump hat. Doing a very good character. Kind of a little thing with his jaw there. Kind of more of a Walmart, kind of a white guy, get her done kind of a guy. And this was actually very good because the black people found common ground with Tom Hanks, like putting your thumbprint on iPhone. It's because the government uses it, and the Illuminati has decided the election already, and the Tyler Perry movies, and it was really, really good. And they even had an ending. I know, they had an ending. They had an ending because the last category was going to be about what kind of lives matter. And Keenan kind of laughed and said, well, it was good while it lasted. And even kind of a little joke at the end there. Now we're going to play the national anthem and see what happens. So, good ending, good sketch. This show has not failed at all. Let's see if they can keep it up. Up next is a sketch that inspired this entire idea for a podcast. The worthless terrible, should have never got in the show sketch. So it was a block party meeting. There was going to be a Halloween party, and Tom Hanks and Cecily were a couple who were talking about the show they wrote for the block party that the other couples did not know about, and they wanted to get paid for it, even though it was all volunteer. And so they decided the best thing to do would be to perform the show, to prove to them that they wrote a show. The beginning of the sketch moved awfully quick. I think if it was written by one person, it seemed like they cut parts out of it, and the person that wrote it, or at least edited it, had a flow to it. And then when you cut off and you go, well, we don't need those 2 lines, we don't need those 2 lines, sometime everything just kind of falls right back down like a stack of pancakes, and sometimes it's like Jenga, and it doesn't collapse right. It's like there was something missing. So it was kind of awkward. So they called their daughter down to help them perform their quote-unquote show. And their show is a Don't Stop Believin' parody song. That's not overdone. And it was terrible. And it was supposed to be terrible. At least I hope it was. And it wasn't even terrible in a good way. They just kind of sang bad lyrics. And they even did that little pet peeve thing where they didn't change a line entirely in the song. Now you can leave a line in from the original song in a parody, but it's gotta mean something. Otherwise it's just kind of lazy. So I think they did The Smell of Blood and Cheap Perfume. I mean, they could have changed Cheap Perfume to something else, because it wasn't an important part of the song, the perfume. So they performed it, and the people actually kind of liked it, and they said they would give him $1,000. And then Tom Hanks and Cecily kicked the other couples out, or asked them to leave, and they were happy to get half of the money, and they were happy they were going to perform, but they were still frustrated. And then the daughter got sent upstairs, and then they cut to the exterior shot of the home, and the applause sign went up, and people applauded and went woo. And this should not have been in the show. This should not have made it past the reading of the sketches to be submitted. I can't believe they did not have something better. And if this was the best they had, then that was a sad batch of sketches they had to choose from. Because this sketch should not have lived. Up next was a pre-taped commercial, which was decent. It was about CBS not having good comedies, so they promote a drama called Broken about teachers with depression, with these scenes with these serious scenes, and they tried to pass it off as funny. And it was funny because it's a half-hour show. So that was kind of funny, that I guess in a little way that there's got to be comedy in every drama. I don't know if that's exactly what they're saying, but I always found that a little funny. I guess it kind of started with MASH. MASH was, well, it didn't start with it, but MASH was both. ER had some comedy in it, that kind of a thing. So I think the lines between comedy and drama were blurred, or are blurred more than they ever were. So it was decent. David Pumpkins. The sketch started off with a couple getting on the elevator. Keenan was the elevator operator, who still can't deliver a line without smiling. And it was 100 Floors of Terror, and it was kind of some familiar things people recognize. And then they came to a floor where Tom Hanks was dressed in a pumpkin suit. Not a pumpkin suit, a suit with pumpkins on it. And he had two skeletons with him, and he just kind of said, "I'm David Pumpkins," and they danced to some techno, and the door closed, and they went on their way. But the couple, especially the guy, was questioning the who was that, and why is that scary, and are we supposed to know that from somewhere? I don't get it. Which was the only good part of the sketch that had that confusion about, they're supposed to be scared, but they're questioning. It doesn't make sense, which I think I've done a lot with comedy. And it was all right. Part of the joke was they had 100 floors to fill, so they had to use a lot of David Pumpkin, and kept showing up. And they went to the last floor. I guess they skipped forward. There was no time lapse or anything, and it was just the pumpkins. And they said, "Oh, so now there's no David Pumpkins." And then he popped up behind them and did his catchphrase, any questions, and they froze for the scary picture, and the applause sign went on. So it was okay. It was okay. But what I'm going to critique is the amount of people that went apeshit for it. I saw a lot of Twitter, like, "Oh my God, funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm peeing myself. David Pumpkins." And they're just like clips of him dancing. So they took the dancing, funny costume, funny skeleton thing, and like that's all they got out of the sketch. But then I don't think anyone would, well, me, I would, but nobody would be tweeting about what a great point that made, and I don't know. I guess it kind of got the dog in sunglasses reaction. Like, it's a dog in sunglasses, it's not the funniest thing you've ever seen. But I guess I'm jaded. I've seen so much comedy that dogs in sunglasses and David as Pumpkin are just not funny. Up next was Weekend Update. Pretty much the same as every Weekend Update. Recently, at least, they start with the election and make fun of Trump, mostly little Hillary, for like 10 minutes. Then they do some generic news stories, and then they have a couple guests. First guest was Leslie Jones, talking about her being hacked with the nude photos that got out, and basically being a strong woman and saying it takes a lot more to embarrass her. She doesn't mind showing herself naked. Kind of nice little rebuttal that I was kind of waiting for. So, pretty good lines. Probably a better message than a funny piece. The other special guest was the girl at the party you wish you weren't talking to. More of the same, mispronouncing words, although she's mispronouncing so many words it's almost not becoming funny anymore. I think less would be better in this case. And, good Weekend Update, as always. Up next was a airline flight sketch with Captain Sully, who landed that plane on the Hudson River and saved a bunch of people a few years ago. And he showed up as just a regular pilot. He was ousted from the captain's chair because he didn't have enough flight hours because he just got back to work. So the theme of the sketch was him kind of saying he was famous, he was Sully, he shouldn't be the co-captain, he should be the captain. Kind of threw in little reminders of who he was, and he knew Ellen. Actually, very well done. Nice little slow-moving but cute sketch. The old mimicking the guy in charge thing that Michael Scott used to do, a little bit of that. The only thing it was missing was an ending. It just got a little bit more ridiculous when they were both on the intercom talking to the passengers, and Alec Baldwin was saying everything was fine, and Tom Hanks's Sully was saying things where they were going down, they were going to the river, and then it just kind of ended. It just needed an ending, and it would have been a very good sketch. It was a good sketch, but boy, the ending where they just keep talking and then switch to the external shot of the plane, put the applause sign on, people clap, people woo. Up next was a really cute pre-tape. Good concept, 3 girls getting ready for Halloween, going out, being just low-key, kind of like, oh, we're going to have fun, kind of nice, maybe not even drinking, and being all cute, interspliced with the future where after their night things are falling apart, where they're drunk, they're throwing up, their makeup is all over the place, they falling down. Really good, actually, switching between the oh, you're going to be so cute, and then switching to one of them sitting on the stoop crying, I'm so ugly, really good. Good concept, well executed. Pre-tapes are always so much better. So much better. This was great. Best thing on the show, I think. Yeah, I said it. Better than David S. Pumpkins. Up next was America's Funniest Pets. Tom Hanks was doing a Ron Howard imitation, so of course he got a joke saying Tom Hanks was a pain in the ass to work with. Gotta throw that in. So your basic funny pets, Ron Howard, they being the very family-friendly guy commenting over a pet video. Then he introduced 2 women, Kate and Cecily, playing French women from the French show of the same genre. And they did some guest commentary over some pet videos, except they were much darker, which is actually kind of a funny concept. Then Ron Howard wanted to, quote, give him some direction. Kind of funny. And, but they just didn't do it. They still said actually some kind of funny stuff about pet videos, like there's a scared cat who just witnessed a murder, and a dog running away because his master was dead, and dead cats and stuff. So that was kind of funny. And then the show just kind of ended. Kind of a nice little time filler. It's one of those sketches that I couldn't see being thought of. I could see the pet thing with Ron Howard was kind of weird, being the host. Could have just been a generic character. At least it wasn't Keenan who was laughing through the whole thing. And then the French women, I don't know, it seems like one of those sketches that, like, oh, the girls had the French women accents and they didn't know what to do with it. And then Tom Hanks wanted to do something where he played Ron Howard because he imitated him. And then somebody else had the idea in the hopper of pet videos being dark, and they all got together and made a sketch out of 3 pieces because they didn't really seem to gel so well. So that was the show. Let me play some music. There we go. So thanks for listening. I'm Fred Garvin. I have to give the penance, that's right. Let's see, the penance today for Saturday Night Live will be one Chevy Chase and 2 Bill Murrays. No, wait a minute. 1 Chevy Chase, 1 Bill Murray. It was actually a very good show. So maybe that's even a harsh sentence. So anyway, previous podcasts available at SNLSucks.com, SoundCloud, etc., etc. So if you have any questions, look there. Tell your friends. Maybe we'll get over 10 listens someday.